It's 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, and it's time for
Craig and Ryland Magic Review Show.
I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
Welcome back to another review show right here on
Magic TV.
Exactly. Now, right here on Magic TV this week, we have 4 brand new tricks that we're going to be looking at, including one of the hottest, literally one of the hottest tricks that's come out in a long time. And we're going to start with that one first. We are going to be looking at Boombox. Okay, right, so the first trick we're going to be looking at today is Boombox, which is a very clever electric kind of gizmo that allows you to do a couple of things, actually. In essence, what you have here is, and I think they've been quite open with what you've got a special deck of cards. This deck of cards has the ability to load flash wool into it. And with a remote control, you can activate that flash wool, which will allow you to do a couple of things. First thing it'll allow you to do is a coin through glass. So you can put a glass on top of the deck. You can make the coin vanish and you can make it appear under the glass with a big burst of fire. The other thing that it'll allow you to do is have someone pick a card, switch for the boombox, have the card put back apparently into the middle of the deck, and then when you make your magic gesture, the deck will explode with fire and the deck will cut itself at the selected card. That's in essence what the boombox is. There's pros and cons. You like it, I'm not too keen. But before we go any further, we're going to have a look at a performance that you did, right? So we're going to have a look at performance of this. This is the kind of the coin through glass performance. There's 2 different versions of this. There's a duplicate coin version and there's a signed coin version. This is the duplicate coin version. Let's have a look at the performance and then we'll talk about what we think. Okay, so that was Boombox. Now, you like this, don't you?
Yeah.
Me, I don't like it, and it would be quite hypocritical for me to like it, because do you remember, like a little while ago, there's a couple of tricks now that Peter Egging has brought out. One was called Inferno, which was a glass filling up with smoke, and the other one was called Coin to Glass, which was a coin going into a glass, and both of those tricks involved a glass being put onto a deck of cards. And I made the point that if you have anything happening on top of a glass, on top of a deck, and you can't show that deck freely, it's kind of obvious that the deck has got something to do with it. If you could make a coin appear under a glass in a burst of fire, why wouldn't you just put the glass on the table? Why wouldn't you just put the glass on the mat? Why wouldn't you just put
the table?
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's very true. That's very true. But why wouldn't you put it somewhere else then? Why is it going on a deck of cards? It would burn a deck of cards if you actually think about it. I just think that this is a lot to carry around. It's an entire deck of cards. You also have to choreograph pressing the remote control and all of that in order to do it at just the right time. You're going to have to do a deck switch. And in essence, it's a coin to glass with a burst of fire. There's a million different ways of making a coin appear in a glass, a million different ways of doing it. And then if you do this in a gigging situation, every single time in between tables, you're going to have to put more flash wool into your gimmick in order to have it ready to go again. So it's not the sort of thing that you could repeat over and over again. It's the same if you're doing the haunted deck presentation with it. You're going to have to reset it by putting flash. You're going to have to carry flash wool around with you. You're going to have to put it inside the gimmick every single time you do it. And maybe if there was a few extra routines with it, possibly. But in essence, you can't show this as a normal deck. It's a little bit like the wormhole deck that we looked at from M2G.
Yeah.
Like, we said that wasn't very good because the thing just appeared on top of the deck of cards. And you were like, well, you could do that without a deck of cards. You might not be able to replicate the fire, but you can have a coin appear underneath a glass very, very simply. You could have, I've got 3 different versions of doing that on the net tricks. You could have, you could do a haunted deck very, very easily without needing this. So therein becomes the problem. You've got this deck of cards that you can't show, you can't spread, you can't do anything with. They can't examine this deck of cards afterwards. I personally think that if you're making a coin disappear and appear under a glass on top of a deck, they're going to want to examine the deck. And what do you say to them if they want to examine the deck? No. You can't examine the deck.
Nope.
Do you punch them in the face and run away? Like, what do you do? So, and I think that there's certain tricks where examinability isn't an issue because the focus is somewhere else. I think you put a glass on top of a deck of cards. I think the focus is on the deck of cards. I think people are going to want to examine the deck, especially if you haven't done a deck switch. I also think the signed coin version looks dodgy as hell. I think they've probably just thrown that in there because they wanted to put a signed coin version in there. But in actual fact, the way that they do it is just terrible. It's like, right, I'm going to take this coin. I'm going to have you sign it. Brilliant. I'm going to put it on this deck of cards for no reason. And now I'm going to take it off the deck of cards again for absolutely no reason. And you can't examine the deck, by the way. And I'm going to put it right down there. And now I'm going to make the coin appear back. This sucks. This just absolutely sucks. It's throwing electronics into a thing that doesn't need electronics. Magicians are going to go all gooey-eyed over it because, there's fire and explosions. And magicians love fire. And like, you love fire, you love explosions. It's probably why you fall in love with it. But in reality, anybody who buys this...
I don't understand that.
Yeah. Anyone who buys this, what they're going to do is they're going to take it out. They're going to do what we did for an hour, which is play around with it, throw flash wool into it and press buttons on remote controls and go, look, it explodes. How clever is that? And then when they go to the gig, they're not going to take it with them. They're not going to do it because it's too cumbersome. It's too annoying. There's too much crap going on with it. And they'll end up not doing it, which is why this gets 20% from me. I think it's terrible. 30%. 30%. Have you managed to change your mind?
Yeah.
Rarely can I change Ryland's mind on stuff like this. No, look, you can give it whatever rating you want to. I just think that it's so impractical. I guarantee you nobody's going to be doing that. Prove me wrong. If you have bought Boom Deck
and are using it
in a gig, tell me in the comments down below. I don't think anyone's using this. 20%, 30%. Okay, so next up we have Ryland's favourite magician, Jeki Yoo, and he's back again. Jeki's back in town. Sorry, Jeki's back. Oh my. You would have to say oh my at least 15 times in a Jeki Yoo review. So Jeki's back with...
Oh my, 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 oh my.
I'm going to get Ryland very excited now. Jeki Yoo has just brought out his own deck of cards. It's called the Oh My deck for collectors.
Can I buy it, please? How many are there?
I don't know, not many. So...
Okay,
we'll hook you up. So, what is... this is called Poker X by Jeki Yoo. And Jeki is, obviously a type of magician that does very visual magic, a lot of it, social media stuff. This is a trick that would look great on social media, but is also going to work in the real world. Now, what you have in essence is you have 4 poker chips, and you have 4 playing cards. You show the playing cards as blank, you show the poker chips, and you in essence do a matrix with the poker chips where the coins, the poker chips are disappearing and appearing underneath the leader card one by one. And for a finale, all of the poker chips vanish, and then when you look at the other side of the card, they've all fused onto the card. Now the poker chips are all on the card. It's great. Now, the method that's used, or the method that's taught on the tutorial, 80% of it is, in my opinion, completely impractical. And I'll go through why in a minute. However, I think that the core routine and the props that you get with it are great. So I've been playing around with this for a while. You're about to see a performance of me doing it. And you're going to see a performance of me doing it, kind of using more traditional matrix style vanishes and so on and so forth, because I think that's the more practical way of doing it in the real world. And I just couldn't get on with what Jeki was teaching. We'll talk about that in a minute, but here's kind of a performance using my handling of what Poker X kind of looks like. Okay, Jack, I'm going to show you something with 4 poker chips. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. And they're going to go into like a diamond formation like this on the mat. Now, the other element to this trick are these. These cards are blank cards. There's nothing on them. And they are the most important part of the trick, though, Jack. And the reason that these cards are the most important part of the trick is because these cards are going to be used to cover up the poker chips. You see, if I cover up the poker chips, there's no way that I can do any sort of sleight of hand, because I can't get to them because the cardboard is covering up the poker chips. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Oh, I should also tell you that this little guy here, he is the leader poker chip, and all the other poker chips follow to join him. I know that sounds crazy, but it's actually true. Let me show you what I mean. Look, can you take this first one here and just wave it over my hand? There you go. That makes that first poker chip vanish, travel right there underneath this card with the leader poker chip. Let's do this again, shall we, Jack? We're going to do it again. This is the next one.
Yeah.
Watch. I'm going to put him right there. Now, once again, I'm going to take this. I'm just going to wave it over my... In fact, no, you're going to do it just like you did before. Wave it over my hand. Ooh. There you go. That makes the next one travel invisibly and go right there underneath the card.
Wow.
It's magic, Jack. That's exactly it. Now look, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take these and we're going to put them in a row like that, okay? Because the last one is the best one of the lot. If I just snap my fingers, did you see the last one go?
No.
You see the last one went. And you're not going to believe this. Over here now, we have all 4 poker chips fused
What the heck?
to the card. And that is an absolute miracle.
How did we get on that?
Okay, so the reason I don't think that Jeki's handling is pretty practical, and I think people need to be aware of this. I've been mulling over whether to say this or not, because we don't want to expose the trick, but I think it's really important as a reviewer you put across stuff that people need to know in order to whether to buy it or not. The method that Jeki uses to make the coins vanish and appear under the leader card, involves having a tiny magnet stuck onto your hand with micropore. And you get the micropore and you get the tiny magnet. For me, that is completely impractical in any sort of close-up situation, unless you're doing kind of more of a, if you're a magician and you maybe you're a hobbyist and you perform socially to people at home, then maybe this would be okay. But I'm not going to go to a close-up gig and have a magnet stuck to my hand with micropore. It's going to get in the way of most of the stuff I do. And what? People are just going to go, why have you got a plaster on your hand? You might not show up in this routine, but it will in all the other routines I do. So what am I going to do? Oh, I want to show you a new trick. It's really good. Give me 2 minutes, and they just need to stick a magnet to my hand. You know, and now trust me, the way that Jeki does it, go watch the performance of this on social media. It looks great. If you're a social media magician, and you are wanting to do, like you, and you're wanting to do something that just looks incredible on social media, this is probably the way that Jeki teaches it is the way that you'd want to do it, because the vanishes look great. Me personally, I was really disappointed with that method. And it's why I kind of went down the route of looking for other ways to actually do this routine, because the idea of showing the cards blank, that's super practical. The way to actually steal all of the poker chips at the end, and the way that the poker chips are gimmicked to allow you to do that very easily, is genius. So a lot of the structure behind the routine is really good. You only need the magnet in place in order to do the various vanishes, which you can replicate with sleight of hand if you've got some basic knowledge of Matrix. And that is what I would do. I plan on doing this, but I plan on doing it the way you just saw it in the video, not in the way that you saw Jeki do it. So that's a long-winded way, and I'm sorry I did most of the talking here. It's just because, yeah, I kind of had a really important point that I wanted to make with this, but this is really good. I am going to do it, but the caveat is, if you want to do it the way that Jeki does it, it's not a practical routine to do in the real world. But with anybody with a bit of basic knowledge of coin magic, you'll be able to use the gimmicks and the cards and the poker chips that Jeki provides to be able to have that really killer ending of all 4 poker chips going onto the same card and kind of being fused onto it. So I think it's worth it just for that, but I don't particularly care for the handling that Jeki explains, unless I was a social media magician. What's your point on this?
I think this is very cool.
Yeah?
If you're using your way.
Yeah?
I don't think Jeki's way is very practical when you're doing it like in real life, but if you do like proper like what's it called now? What's it called?
What are you talking about?
No, not the, like what the actual type of trick is.
Matrix.
Matrix, yeah. Right. So yeah, if doing the actual matrix move, I think would make this really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
So I would probably do this, just not use the gimmick.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I'm giving this 89%. I think it's really good. I'm definitely going to use it, but you just need to be aware that you'll have to adapt it a little bit, unless you're the sort of person where you perform socially or for social media. Then you might be okay. 89% from me. What about you?
I'm gonna give it 90%.
90%. 90% from Ryland, 89% from me. Let's move on with the next review. Okay, so the next trick is by Big Blind Media, and it's presented by Liam Montier, and this is Visualise. He promises that this is going to be the best gosh darn triumph you're ever going to see. Big words. And yeah, it's a very, very, very good triumph. Now, I'm going to do a performance in a second. You're going to see a video of me performing this to Thea, my daughter, your sister. And Thea absolutely loved this. There's three. There's 3 routines on the project. The first routine, right, okay, so what can I tell you about this? Okay, so this uses a very traditional gimmick deck of cards that a lot of you might be aware of. There are other people that have done projects with this deck of cards, myself included. If anybody is aware of my project Cheeky, then the deck of cards that is supplied with Cheeky is the same deck that's supplied here, minus the extra bits that you get with the Cheeky deck, but it's in essence the same thing. The deck is set up in a slightly different way, which allows you to do a thought of card triumph. There's 3 routines on the project. The first is the basic sort of cheek-to-cheek deck routine, where he teaches just the basic routine that's been around forever. Absolutely fine. The second routine is the thought of card triumph, which you're going to see a video of in a second. And the final routine is kind of a gambling style thing, which is kind of an interesting premise. We'll talk about that in a second. First of all, let's look at the main routine. This is kind of the routine they're selling the project on. So let's have a look at this one. Okay, so I'm here with Thea. Say hi, Thea. Hey. So Thea, I've got a deck of playing cards. We're going to do a card trick, greatest card trick of all time. Are you ready for this? 52 cards, Thea. 52 possibilities. I'm going to show you something absolutely amazing. I'm going to cut around about half of the, I don't know, roughly, we're going to cut around about half the cards face up, give or take. So we've got half face up, we've got half face down. And you can see that, hopefully. Cards face up, cards face down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle these cards face up into face down. I want you to see this is not one of those TV magic shuffles, but these cards really are being shuffled face up into face down.
Yes.
That good?
Yeah.
Now, in a second, you're going to cut to a face up card. Now, I know you're not very good at cards, so if you want to, you can spread and cut at that point to a face up card, so the card's on the face.
Yeah.
Then when it's on the face, remember it, show the camera, and then take that card. And what I want you to do, let's say you went for this one, what I want you to do is take that card, turn it face down, and just push it somewhere in the middle. You get the idea? So I'll look away. So what I want you to do is spread the cards out, cut a card to the face, show the camera, and then put it into the middle of the deck face down.
Face down.
Yeah, so put it into the middle of the deck face down.
Yep.
Are you done? And put the rest of the cards there. That's amazing, dear. Good job. So, I don't know what your card is. Would you agree? Yeah. It's got to be something, but I have no idea what it is. Yeah. And I know your card's face down, but other than that, I don't know what it is. I'm going to show you the difference there between a magician and a mind reader. Okay? Look at me. Concentrate on the card. Concentrate on the card. Thea, your card was a red card.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was. Concentrate on the suit, whether it's heart or a diamond. Thea, your card's a diamond.
Yes.
Cool. Now, I need to work out what the card is, so say it over and over again in your head, not out loud. If you say it out loud, that's not mind reading, that's listening. So over and over in your head. You're going to say it over and over really loud. Scream it in your head like you're screaming, King of Diamonds, 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 King of Diamonds. Was your card the King of Diamonds?
Yeah.
But that is mind reading. That's not magic. Magic is like this. Watch. Take your hand. Can you snap your fingers well?
I can snap one hand.
Okay, cool. Snap. Together on 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. You know what that does?
What?
That does magic. Because we mix these cards face up into face down, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we put your card face down. You put it somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
That magic snap turns every single card face down except for one card in the middle, which is the card that you picked.
What?
Okay, so that's the main routine. It's very clean because obviously you take the cards, you shuffle them face up into face down. They see that the cards are shuffled face up into face down. And then you have them with your back turned. They cut the deck, they look at the card, they bury it in the middle, and then you tell them what the card is, and it's the only one turned over in the deck. Now, on my Cheek to Cheek project, on my Cheeky Deck project, I actually put a thought of card triumph as well. And myself and Liam have tried to achieve the same thing and gone in a completely different approach. Liam's approach is exceptional. It's very, very good. The one thing that you will need to know, and this is worth knowing, is that you are going to have to memorize something. And Liam will give you a couple of different ways of doing that. But you are going to, and the way that he suggests doing it is a very traditional way that you might be aware of, you might not. But then he goes through other options as well. But you are going to need to memorize something. There is going to be something that you are going to need to memorize in order to be able to do the routine that you just saw me do with Thea. You couldn't take the deck and have. So if you've seen my thought of card triumph, I have the deck. I have the spectator take half the cards and shuffle them and look at and think of a card. You can't do that here. You can't have them shuffle the cards. There's something you need to remember. However, there are certain advantages with Liam's routine over mine. They're both really good. They're just completely different approaches. But this is a very, very clever way of achieving a thought of card triumph. It's very clever. Very, very clever. Really, really good. But you guys need to be aware there is something you need to remember. Outside of that, there's no moves because the deck is gimmicked and allows you to do all the work. The other thing that you get is you get the gambling routine, which is quite clever. In this premise, he gets them to shuffle the cards face up into face down, and he's got a pile of pound coins, and he says, look, I'll give you £1 for every time, once these cards are shuffled, every time you end up with either 4 cards face up or 4 cards face down, I'll give you £1. And he gets them to shuffle the cards face up into face down, and they end up winning no money. And he says, well, let me show you how I would do it. And then with, one move, he ends up showing that all of the cards are now facing the right way, and he's won all the pounds. So it's a really interesting premise. It's basically a presentational way of doing a triumph without a selected card, but it's very, very clever. The cards are really well made. They do what they're meant to do. You've got 3 routines. All 3 of the routines are great. The first one, the classic Cheek to Cheek deck is, it's been around forever. It's great. And then you've got the other 2 routines, which are very good as well. I'm going to give this 79%. The reason I'm going to give it 79% is I wouldn't do this over the routines that are in my Cheeky Deck project. Not that I don't think Liam's routines are good, because they are, but I've been doing Cheeky for years. So why would I stop doing Cheeky to do something that's very, very similar with just a slightly different approach? I wouldn't. And also with Cheeky, I put like 10 or 12 routines on there versus 3 on this project. So for me, I prefer Cheeky, and it'd be hypocritical for me to say that I don't. I sell this trick. This is a trick that I endorse, I recommend, I filmed it, but buy this one instead, it's better. It'd be hypocritical of me to do that. And, I'm not going to change the routines that I do based on the stuff in this project. But if you've never had a Cheek to Cheek deck before, if you've never owned a Cheek to Cheek deck and you want to see some really cool ideas with it and you don't want to be overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I put on my project, absolutely, this is great.
You do put like 5 hours worth.
I do put a lot of stuff on mine.
How long was Cheeky?
It's only 2.5 hours actually.
What?
I know.
Probably because you've skipped the live performances.
I didn't. They were all on there. They were all on there as well. But look, it's good. I recommend it. I'm giving it 79% because I wouldn't do it. But that's not to say it's not a good prop. It is a good, well-made deck. Yeah. Liam is a great teacher. You've got some live performances on there as well, which I very much appreciated. And all of the routines are working.
We love live performances.
Yeah, we love live performances. What would you give it? I know you do Cheeky.
I'm gonna give it. The thing is, I already do cheeky, so
You do the thought of card from Cheeky, don't you?
yeah. I think I'll stick with cheeky, so I'm gonna give it 79%.
79%.
It's really good.
It is really good.
If
Don't.
you don't want to be overwhelmed with like
Yeah.
the 30 minutes of live performance and the 2 hours of non-stop teaching, then buy this.
You know what? Here's the thing. If you hate me, go and buy this. Yeah. if you like me, go and buy this. Just go and buy this. It's good. It's good. Although if they hate me, they probably wouldn't be watching this review show, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You watch this review show and you hate me sometimes.
Yeah. Good point.
Anyway, we're going to move on now with one final routine. And guess what? Liam Montier is back with his final one as well. It's called Heroes
Yay.
and Villains. So this is Heroes and Villains, which you're going to see perform.
Villains deck.
No, not the thing I'm doing.
Oh.
It's the thing with the four. You know this.
I thought we were talking about the Heroes and Villains deck.
No, that's not coming out for until next year. So yeah, exactly. This is Heroes and Villains by Stephen Macrow and Kmart Magic, and is presented by Liam Montier. Now you know Stephen Macrow. Stephen Macrow was a dealer at the Ferrybridge Day of Magic, and he had all of the Rubik's Cube Club and stuff there. He was the guy that was you bought a load of stuff off him. You were doing his multiple out trick the other day. Stephen's a great creator. Don't really know him, but yeah, it's really good. So this is Heroes and Villains by Stephen Macrow. This particular thing is taught by Liam Montier, and there's two sets of cards that you get in here. So first of all, you get the set that you're going to see Ryland working with in a minute. You get four sort of hero cards, four cards that look like top trump cards that have super villains or superheroes on them, and each pack has a different sort of collection of heroes and villains. The other four cards that you get is you get four tarot cards. And you can present this however you want to. You can use the tarot cards in order to do more of a tarot-style, darker presentation. Or if you're performing for family or kids or kind of more of an upbeat type performer, you can use the Heroes and Villains cards, which are the ones that you elected to use. And this, and it's rare that I can say this fooled you. When I performed this to you, you were fooled.
Yeah.
He had no idea how this worked.
Well, you said there were no markings.
There's no mark.
Oh, but there technically is.
No, but there's no markings,
But
right?
I was technically right.
You were wrong.
No, that technically is a marking.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
They're not marked.
Explain what a marking is.
Ryland, I don't want to give too much away here.
I'm just explaining what.
No, it's not a marking. It's not a marking.
Explain what a marking is.
It's not a marking. And you thought all four of them were marked. They're not. There's one that has been gimmicked in a particular way to allow you to do the routine, but it is not marked. So no, you're wrong.
Technically, it's marked.
Stop it. Let's have a look at.
Explain the meaning of the word marked.
Let's have a look at a performance of this. This is Ryland doing a very simple presentation of the Heroes and Villains cards.
Okay, so I've got some superhero cards and I've got my dad behind the camera. I've also got some villain cards. So I've got the Flash and Superman. I've also got Harley Quinn and the Riddler. Okay?
Yeah.
So, what I want you to do is I want you to take these and I want you to mix them all up. Okay? Tell me when you've done that.
I've done.
Okay?
Done. Yeah.
Yep. Now what I want you to do is I want you to pick any one of these.
Anyone at all?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's go for that one.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now what we do is I now want you to mix them all up. Okay?
Mix them all
so
up.
So put it back and mix them all up.
Okay. Done.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got all of these here, okay?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to go through it and I'm going to tell you which ones I think is your superhero and your villain. Okay, so I want you to think of your character. The Riddler. No, I don't think it's a Riddler. Harley Quinn. No, I don't think it's Harley Quinn. And Superman. No, I don't think it's Superman. So it must be this one. What was your character?
Dude, it was Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, but Harley Quinn was there.
Yeah, you suck. You got it wrong.
No, it's just magic. You see, that's Harley Quinn. And here are the two heroes.
What?
And the villain.
Okay, so that is Heroes and Villains. And what you just saw there was a very basic presentation. Now, what you can do here is, in essence, and Liam's going to go through a bunch of different ways of doing this, but you can show these 4 cards, you can turn your back, have them mix them up as much as they want to, lay them out on the table, have them take one, look at it, all the while your back's turned, gather all the other cards up, mix everything together, and you will immediately know what their card is and where their card is.
Yeah.
And you can do it over and over and over again, and it becomes more fooling every single time. And that is one of the really clever things about this. There's a couple of different principles at play here that allow you to know that card straight away. And Liam's going to go through a bunch of different ways to reveal this. The way that you use right there, Liam teaches, where you kind of got that Dunbury delusion style ending. You also have... Liam talks about how to use this with the tarot cards and use pendulums and have kind of a multiple out style thing. There's a bunch of different ways. I know you have. You got a bunch of different ways that you can actually do this. That's the point. This can be repeated over and over again, and you're going to get a different outcome every single time. It's very, very clever. Now, when I perform this to you for the first time, you could have the spectator examine these cards forever. They're not going to find anything. There is nothing to find. One of the cards is gimmicked. It's gimmicked in a very clever way. Despite what Ryland said, these cards are not marked. So if you've got terrible eyesight, it's not going to make any difference because there are no markings on these cards. It's gimmicked in a way that will allow you to do the routine that you saw Ryland do every single time. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
It's easy to do. It's easy to do. Liam goes through everything with a fine-tooth comb. You will, as soon as you finish watching the tutorial, be able to put this into your act. And I love the fact that they've put 2 different types of cards in. So depending on the performer you are, there's a couple of different ways of going with this. I love this. I think it's great. This would make a great everyday carry. Just put these 4 little top trump cards in your wallet. And if anybody wants to see a trick, you can pull them out and you can do it anytime, anywhere. Everyone's talking about everyday carry at the moment. This would make a great everyday carry. I like this. I'm going to give this 83%. What about you?
I'm going to give it... I think I would probably use this, actually. So I'm going to give it 95%.
95%? I thought you would. Yeah, just throw them in your pocket and you're good to go.
Yeah.
And you can just... And it's the sort of thing, by the way, sometimes you learn a trick. And if you haven't done it for about 6 months, you completely forget how that trick's done. Yeah. You'll be able to just take these cards out, even if you've not done it in 6 months, and just immediately know what to do with them.
You can do it like 15 years and you still
15 years' time and you'd still remember it, yeah. Anyway, so there you go. That's a really great trick. 95% from Ryland, 83% from me. Let's wrap this up.
There's no Visha bag. There's no Visha in bag. Ow. I got myself. There's no Visha in bag.
That is another review show in the bag.
Metal.
Thank you once again for joining us right here on Magic TV. Hey, stop beating me up. Come on, be nice. Come on, be nice. Be nice. VR. That is another review show in the bag. Once again, thank you for joining us here on Magic TV. If you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You can follow Ryland the Kid Magician by going Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram and searching Ryland the Kid Magician. You can follow us on Magic TV. I thought you said you were going to be nice. VR. And also, don't forget, you can join the Netrix, which is my online streaming platform for magicians. You simply go to www.thenetrix.com. Go check it out and see what all the fuss is about. But I will see you again soon. Stop cookies, whatever. I'll see you again. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
We'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.